Good morning. You're listening to The Brief Wake Up, your mindful start to the day. I am Handel, your daily coffee companion, helping you wake up informed, thoughtful, and maybe just a little amused before the day gets old. If you're commuting, corralling kids, or just standing in line for caffeine, you're in the right place. Let's get you caught up. For health this morning, let's ask that age-old breakfast question. Egg whites or egg yolks, which is better? We love simple rules in nutrition. Good, bad, eat this and avoid that. Egg whites versus egg yolks is one of those debates that refuses to die, mostly because it sounds like a clean choice. But the truth is more nuanced. Egg whites and yolks do two completely different jobs in your body. One is not categorically better. They're optimized for different outcomes. Egg whites are almost pure protein, low calorie, fat-free and cholesterol-free. If you need lean protein with minimal metabolic load, whether it be weight loss, bodybuilding, or tight calorie restriction, egg whites are efficient. No wasted energy. No extra macronutrients, just amino acids ready to repair tissue. Egg whites, on the other hand, are where the biological engine actually lives. The yolk carries almost all the vitamins, minerals, and bioactive compounds. B vitamins, choline for brain health, lutein and zeaxanthin for eye protection, fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, K, and essential fatty acids. The yolk also contains the cholesterol. And here's where most people get confused. For decades, dietary cholesterol was blamed for elevating blood cholesterol. But large modern studies show the relationship is more complex. In most healthy adults, the cholesterol in food has limited impact on LDL levels because the liver adjusts its own production. So if not egg yolk, what does raise our LDL? Refined carbs, trans fats, weight gain, inflammation, and genetics, not yolks. In fact, the choline and healthy fats in yolks support hormone synthesis, cellular repair, and neurological function, things whites cannot do on their own. So the real question isn't which is better, it's what do you need right now? If you're cutting calories aggressively, managing body composition, or need clean protein with no extras, egg whites make sense. If you're trying to support brain function, nutrient density, hormone health, or overall metabolic resilience, the yolk is the powerhouse. For most people, the whole egg is the optimal option. You get the full protein package plus the vitamin-rich yolk, a complete biological design that nature intended. Now, there are exceptions. If you have known familial hypercholesterolemia, or strong genetic risk for cardiovascular disease, your clinician may advise limiting yolks. That's not because yolks are inherently harmful, it's because your system handles cholesterol differently. But for the majority of people, 1 or 2 whole eggs a day is not just safe, it's nutritionally beneficial. Here's the bottom line. Egg whites are protein. Egg yolks are nutrition. Together, they're one of the most complete foods we have. You don't have to choose one villain and one hero. Just choose based on your goals. And stop throwing out the yolk. That's where nature put the good stuff. The news is next. In the news, there's a developing geopolitical story that's gone from fringe idea to international flashpoint. Renewed US interest in taking control of Greenland. The concept isn't new. President Donald Trump first floated the idea back in 2019. But this week, senior White House officials reignited the conversation and escalated it by saying the US military is always an option when it comes to securing strategic control of the island. That one sentence set off a chain reaction across Europe. Denmark's prime minister called the comment destabilizing and dangerous, warning that any attempt to seize Greenland would effectively end NATO. Other European leaders, from France, Germany, and the UK, issued statements reaffirming that Greenland's sovereignty is not negotiable and that the island's status must be determined only by Denmark and the people of Greenland. Greenland's own leadership also responded quickly. Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen urged calm, saying there is no expectation of an American annexation and calling for a respectful dialogue with Washington. But he emphasized that Greenland is a self-governing territory whose future cannot be bought, pressured, or militarily coerced. So why all this attention on a massive island with only 57,000 people? Because Greenland sits at the center of modern Arctic strategy. It's home to key radar installations, emerging shipping routes as sea ice melts, and significant deposits of rare earth minerals. The same minerals needed for batteries, electronics, and defense technologies. Control of Greenland means influence over the Arctic, and influence over the Arctic means leverage against Russia and China. But despite the rhetoric, there's no active military movement, no annexation plan, and no diplomatic negotiation underway. This is a war of words, not actions, at least for now. The bigger concern is what this tension reveals: a potential developing fracture point within NATO. If the US were to pursue Greenland by force or coercion, it would undermine decades of alliance trust and invite a direct confrontation with European partners. For now, Denmark and Greenland stand united. Europe has drawn a line, and Washington is sending mixed signals, part strategic posturing, part political theater. But it's a reminder of a larger truth about the modern world. Territory resources and strategic geography still matter. Even in 2026, even in the Arctic, old-fashioned geopolitical leverage still drives nations to make bold, sometimes reckless statements. And Greenland, once seen as distant and frozen, is suddenly at the center of the map. Tech and culture is next. Yesterday for Tech and Culture, we spoke about music's rhythm and the impact it has on us. Today we touch music as a communication tool. Let's start with this. Music communicates in a way language cannot, because it does not wait for comprehension. Language is slow. It requires rules, structure, and sequencing. You have to hear a full sentence before you can understand what it's trying to say. Meaning unfolds linearly, but music delivers meaning instantly. A single interval can signal tension. A single chord can signal longing. A single shift in dynamics can signal hope, fear, urgency, or release. No vocabulary required. No grammar to decode. No shared language to negotiate. This works because music uses the body, not the intellect, as its primary interpreter. Emotion, not syntax, is the operating system. This is why a lullaby soothes an infant who doesn't understand a single word. Why two people who cannot communicate verbally can still lock into the same emotional space while singing. Why a film score can make an entire theater tense, breathe, or grieve in synchrony, even when no dialogue is present. Music communicates through structural cues that predate language. Contour, the rise and fall of melodic line, mirroring the prosody of human emotion. Timbre, the color of sound that maps to warmth, sharpness, distance, closeness. Dynamics, volume shifts that signal safety or threat. Pacing and silence, the space between sounds that carries as much meaning as the sound itself. These cues plug directly into ancient survival systems. Long before humans built sentences, we listened for patterns of intensity in the environment. Wind, footsteps, storms, animals, and most importantly, other humans. Meaning lived in sound long before it lived in words. And that mechanism still drives communication today. Consider a conversation where someone says, "I'm fine." You don't believe the words. You believe the tone. Because tone carries emotional truth faster than language. Or think about a stadium singing a national anthem. Tens of thousands of people, different backgrounds, beliefs, histories, and suddenly unified in one breath. Not by lyrics, but by shared sonic timing. Or a protest on the street. A chant synchronizes a crowd. Rhythm organizes intention. A collective identity forms not through argument, but through shared sound. Music is not just expressive, it is regulatory. It coordinates bodies and emotions simultaneously. And this is why silence can feel so uncomfortable during conflict. Without shared rhythm, the nervous system loses its reference point. We reach for sound, music, humming, tapping all because we need structure when emotion becomes unstable. Technology has seized on this ancient communication channel. Streaming algorithms don't just track what you play, they track the emotional signature of what you play. They infer your mood, time of day, energy level, stress level, even social context. Sound becomes data. Data becomes prediction. Prediction becomes personalization. Notification sounds are engineered for emotional effect, urgency, anticipation, or reward. Soundscapes in wellness apps are tuned to slow breathing and increase vagal tone. Social media platforms design audio loops that hold your attention by matching your nervous system's preferred tempo. Digital systems aren't simply delivering songs. They're leveraging the same physiological communication channel that shaped human evolution. Because music is not information. It is communication, pure, instinctive, embodied communication that bypasses language and speaks directly to the nervous system. This is why music works across all barriers humans have ever built: language, geography, politics, age, and belief. It is the one medium that never needs translation to be understood. In a world overflowing with words, music remains the fastest and most universal way human beings say, "I'm here. I feel this. You're not alone." The lighter roast is next. For this morning's lighter roast, I've been thinking about something simple. We don't listen to each other. Or do we? We accuse people of this, but are also often accused of this. What we actually do is we listen for the parts we like and the parts we can use. Selective listening isn't a flaw, it's a survival strategy. Because if we fully absorbed every word people said to us in a day, we'd collapse by lunchtime. Take relationships. Someone says, "We need to talk." But what you hear is, "You're in trouble." Start rehearsing excuses. Meanwhile, what they really meant was, "Can you take the chicken out of the freezer?" Or you're having a normal conversation, and they throw in one small critique. "I love you, but you really need to stop leaving dishes in the sink." That entire first part disappears. Only the attack survives. Your brain is like, "They hate me. War has begun." Parents do it, kids do it, and coworkers do it. We filter reality like we're running it through a coffee strainer and then wonder why only the bitter stuff gets through. And here's the funny part. We don't listen equally, we listen strategically. If someone gives you a compliment, you hear it at 0.5 times speed. You're like, "Go on." If someone gives you feedback, you hear it at 8 times speed. Just a blur of syllables in danger. And when someone tells you something you don't want to do, your hearing shuts down like a bargain laptop. "Can you help me move Saturday?" Nope. Dial tone, static, and Wi-Fi outage. You suddenly become medically incapable of processing language. But when the same person says, "Do you want to get food?" your hearing comes back instantly. Perfect clarity. You're like a bat in a cave, picking up frequencies nobody else can hear. Selective listening is not random, it's pattern recognition. We hear based on 3 things: what we fear, what we want, and what we're avoiding. And sometimes we avoid the truth everyone else can hear perfectly clearly. People say, communicate better. But the truth is, most communication isn't about speaking. It's about interpretation. Two people can hear the same sentence and walk away with two completely different movies playing in their heads. Not because one is wrong, but because both of them are filtering for comfort. Selective listening is how we protect ourselves. It's how we maintain peace, dodge conflict, and keep our sanity. But every once in a while, it's worth slowing down, hearing the whole sentence, not just the part that hits your ego, not just the part you feared, not just the part you wanted. Because real listening isn't about catching words, it's about catching meaning. And if we did that more often, half the arguments we have in life would never need to happen at all. Our commemoration is next. Today, January 7th, is a unique mix of sacred, historic, and just plain fun. First, it's Orthodox Christmas for millions of Christians around the world. Because many Orthodox churches follow the older Julian calendar, where Christmas falls on January 7th instead of December 25th. It's a quieter celebration, focused on liturgy, fasting, and family tradition. A reminder that for much of the world, Christmas is still about reflection rather than decoration. It's also Victory Over Genocide Day in Cambodia, a national day of remembrance marking the fall of the Khmer Rouge regime in 1979. It honors the more than 1 million lives lost and recognizes the resilience of survivors who had to rebuild their country after one of the darkest periods of the 20th century. In West Africa, Ghana observes Constitution Day, commemorating the adoption of its current democratic constitution. It's a celebration of stability, the foundation of Ghana's Fourth Republic, and a reminder that strong democracies are built through participation, not chance. Then we shift to the lighter side of the calendar. Today is National Bobblehead Day, honoring those wobbling little figurines that somehow became one of America's most enduring collectibles. Athletes, celebrities, politicians. If you've made it in life, someone has probably turned your head into plastic with a spring in it. And it's Harlem Globetrotters Day, celebrating the iconic basketball team that brought athleticism and entertainment together long before the NBA became global. The Globetrotters have performed for nearly a century, spinning basketballs, defying physics, and putting smiles on faces in over 100 countries. So today, depending on where you are and how you're living, you might be honoring faith, remembering history, celebrating democracy, or appreciating the joy of a bobblehead and the showmanship of the Globetrotters. 5 different stories, all sharing the same date, and each one a reminder that meaning comes in many forms. Today we learned that egg whites and yolks aren't rivals at all. One delivers pure protein, the other delivers the nutrients your body needs. In the news, geopolitical theater around Greenland reminded us that strategy and symbolism still drive global tension even when no action follows the rhetoric. And from music's ability to communicate without language to our own habit of selective listening. Plus today's mix of global commemorations, the theme is simple. Meaning depends on how we listen and what we choose to pay attention to. This is Dr. Robinson for the Brief Wake Up. Stay calm, kind, and curious. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.